How many? How's it going, everyone? Today we are going to be discussing a very important question. How many human babies could fit inside of the Washington Monument? Now, obviously, we can't try this in real life. That would be dangerous, irresponsible, outright illegal, all this, you can't do it. But because we can't do this in real life, that makes things a little difficult. So we're gonna have to use some math and science and sleuthing, we gotta figure it out. First things first, we gotta approximate the average volume of a baby. In other words, we have to figure out how much space a baby occupies. And don't get me wrong, typing average baby volume into Google definitely sounds like more than a little suspicious. So, to find out the volume of our baby, first we need its dimensions. Now, through a little bit of research, I found that the average newborn head circumference is approximately 13.75 inches. Now, using a little bit of geometry, we know that pi is always going to be equal to the circumference of a circle divided by its diameter, also known as 2 times the radius. If we rearrange this equation to solve for the radius, we can divide our circumference of 13.75 inches by 2 pi to find the radius of our baby's head, about 2.19 inches. Heads are pretty typically shaped kind of like spheres. They're in that realm of shape. So if we plug our radius into the formula for the volume of a sphere, we end up with our baby's head taking up about 44 cube inches of space. Approximately. Generally speaking, a baby's head is about half its body length, give or take, plus 10 centimeters or so. So if we know that the circumference of our baby's head is 13.75 inches, about 35 centimeters, we can subtract 10 and multiply the result by 2 to get a result of 50 centimeters, approximately 19.75 inches long. Keep in mind that for the sake of our baby measurements, we are being very generous with the approximations, as I do not have a physical, tangible baby with me that I can measure. Through a little further internet sleuthing, I found out that the average baby torso circumference is about 12 inches. So if we assume that, generally speaking, the baby's torso, arms, and legs are all you can see them as a cylinder, then by using a little geometry, we can figure out that the volume of this cylinder, the volume would be about 258 inches cubed. This brings us to a total baby volume of 302 inches cubed. While I am most certainly on an FBI watch list, now we have a pretty close estimate as to how much space a baby takes up in inches cubed. Now, 302 inches cubed, that's a pretty hefty baby. That's not your normal baby. This is Sparta, warrior infant. We need strong babies if they're gonna survive the Washington Monument. So it works out perfectly. Now you might be asking, hey, why don't we just divide the average mass of a baby by the human density to get its volume? Be quiet. Anyways, now that we have the volume of the baby, we just need to find the volume of the Washington Monument. Now, you may think it is a simple, easy little Google search away, but trust me, I tried, and it's not. I was actually pretty surprised. And what makes things even weirder is that the monument isn't just a normal rectangle. It's not just a normal rectangular prism. It's actually what's called a right frustum, or a truncated pyramid. Now, the Washington Monument has base lengths of 13.41 and 10.5 meters, as well as having a height of 152.4 meters. Now, with a little more math, making sure we include the pyramid on top of the monument, we can come to the conclusion that it's got a volume of about 22,500 meters cubed. All that's left to do is divide that number by the volume of a baby, converted to meters, of course, and voila, we get that roughly 5 million babies could fit inside of the Washington Monument. That's a sizable number. For context, the population of New York City is about 9 million people. So, if you converted every single person in New York into a baby, and you're being generous with the size. These are big babies. Over half of them would be able to fit inside of the Washington Monument. That's pretty wild. Now, of course, we have to take into account that these babies would either have to be extremely, extremely densely packed together or liquefied, but we'll go with the densely packed one. So there you have it.